So this video is brought to you in partnership with the Times and Sunday Times Cheltenham Literature Festival, who have been so lovely and have let me go behind the scenes and talk with some authors at this year's event. It's very exciting, so I really hope that you like the videos. We're going to do lots of things to try and get you guys involved and make it really fun and cool, so I hope that you enjoy. Hello everyone, Ren here, and today I am at the Cheltenham Literature Festivals with Juno Dawson, who has so kindly joined my video for today, so thank you for that.
Thank you for having me.
You're my first official proper sat-down author for this event. So I've had some Twitter questions, and then also just some of my own, just a chat.
Excellent.
One of the questions I got from Lily on Twitter wants to know, what was your favourite book to write out of all the ones that you've written?
Ooh, well, I think I'm on record as saying I particularly love to say her name, which I think I wrote about 4 years ago now.
That was the first one of yours that I read.
But that said, and I think this is true of a lot of authors, you are always in love with the one you're working on now.
Right.
And so I'm working on at the moment my novel for 2018, and I think that one is a goodie as well.
Can you give anything away? No.
Also, I mean, my next one I've got Margot and Me is out next January. It's bigger and more epic than anything I've ever done before, in that all my novels have been quite small, in that they've been set in one space of time or one place, whereas Margot and Me covers 50 years, because it's about a family history unravelling, kind of. So it starts in the modern day, but ravels back to like 1942 during World War II, and so there's pretty much quite a lot going on. Yeah, and it kind of covers the character of Margot from her being like a 15-year-old girl in the 40s right up to the present day. So there's a lot of drama to look at.
Was that challenging to go into after the other books that you've written? Was it more of a challenge, or did it feel pretty much the same?
Yeah, but that's why I did it. With every book you want to do something new, you want to kind of push yourself. I think after all of the above, in particular, I was kind of wary of doing another high school story. All my books have been to some extent set in a high school, and so I think my editor described it as painting on a bigger canvas, and I think that was what I really wanted to do. And it was intimidating, but I think that was a good thing. And actually, Margot's section in 1942 were one of my favourite bits to write. So
what is your writing process like? Is it the idea first, or do you just sort of write and then sort of something comes out of that? Because I know there's quite a big range of like the way the ideas can come about, so what is it for you that works?
Well, I get on a boat, and the boat takes me through the canals of the UK to a secret cove off the coast of the Wirral, and in the cave there is a unicorn, and the unicorn whispers the idea into my ear, and that's how I get my inspiration.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty unique. I don't think I've ever heard.
I think for every writer it's different, but I have the Wirral unicorn.
You have the Wirral unicorn. Yeah. Why the Wirral?
Because that's where it lives.
Is that where it lives?
I didn't pick that, yeah.
What, at the moment, sort of YA at the moment, what are you loving? What is it about it at the moment that you're finding? Like, what books have you read recently?
Inspiring me.
Yes.
At the moment I'm doing a lot of reading curated this year, the YA Literature Festival at the South Bank Festival.
Oh, yes.
So I've been doing a lot of catching up on that. I really enjoyed Patrice Lawrence's debut, which is called Orange Boy.
I just read that one. I just finished that one. Absolutely
really good.
Brilliant.
And I think a voice, like an urban London voice that we were missing. I worry in the last couple of years that maybe YA's got a bit nice.
Yeah.
I think what Louise O'Neill is doing is really interesting, in that she's brought that real sort of darkness and that real sort of despair to the table. I adore Holly Baum for the opposite reason, which is I think Holly Baum takes very dark issues and actually writes about them with a real joie de vivre, and kind of says, yes, this is a book about OCD and anxiety, but, it's still actually kind of humour. There's a lot of humour to it, and sort of like looking for the light in even the darkest situations. So I think there's some really good YA out there. I think the industry, especially in the UK, has backed away from YA a little bit.
Yes.
I think because we haven't as yet kind of produced like a homegrown John Green, that publishers have retreated back to what UK fiction has always done really well, which is that kind of 12, 13, 14 thing of kind of with your Robin Stevens, Holly Smale, Derek Landy, those sort of real core sort of mid-grade titles. And so I'm just hoping that we continue to see investment in young adult fiction, because, look at Louise O'Neill again, well, Irish talent who, has come through and really made a difference in books that make you think.
Definitely. No, Asking for It was absolutely fantastic. I think that was one of the ones that really opened quite a lot of people's eyes. But I saw an article recently talking about young adult fiction and how it is stupid and how it sort of is silly and people shouldn't read it because it dumbs you down, and I just think that's absolutely ridiculous. And it's one of those things that sort of quite a lot of people were talking about online. And
is it that man? Yeah, that man.
Yeah,
the
that man.
Man.
Him.
Always that man, isn't it? It's always that man.
And it was silly because I was just thinking there's so much at the moment that I think is really like coming into thick. Books like Lisa Williamson's book as well, which I think is brilliant. And
I look for her new one. I'm going on tour with Lisa in January, so I'm really looking forward to it.
I went to the tour you did with her in 2015. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what the title of the tour was because I'm awful like
just
that.
Us being on tour again, Lisa and Juno's endless tour.
It was really good, and that was sort of, I'd always read YA stuff, but that was when I was first introduced to like Lisa's book and your books, and they were quite opening, and I remember reading them and just thinking, why didn't I have this when I was younger, I think this was something. And then I did a review of This Book Is Gay, and there were so many comments saying this book really helped me, this book was really good. How does that make you feel, like, to see the response to that book in particular, and how...
That one was weird because I didn't like writing it.
Did you not?
Like, that was my least favourite to write.
Really?
Because I had to do it very quickly. I was relying on contributors. Getting contributors to do things for free is really hard, and nor should you have to get them to do things for free, but I did in that case. It was just quite painful. It was quite a painful process. But then about 6 months after it came out, I did start getting those emails and those tweets, and it was kind of really amazing because far more than any of my other titles, that's the one that people get in touch with me about.
Yeah.
And from all over the world as well. I mean, that book's out in South America, Germany. I've had letters from Venezuela. I didn't even know you could get it in Venezuela. Spain, the United States. It was banned in Alaska. So, it's really kind of... Although, that book has probably changed my life, and I'm so pleased it's changing the lives of other people's as well, because that was the hope, but I wasn't so arrogant to think that would necessarily happen. So,
but it was a nice surprise that it did.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What is your thoughts on banned books? I had a couple of questions actually, because it was Banned Book Week last week, so quite a lot of the questions that I got sent when I tweeted about Asking were about how you felt about This Book Is Gay being banned in some places. What did you feel about that? That's quite a lot of questions just crossed off in one go. Quite a lot of people asked that.
Well, it was a very strange storm in a teacup, which is that it came from a perfectly legitimate concern about why the book was being shelved with children's books.
Right.
And I agree, This Book Is Gay is not a children's book. I've never written a children's book. But then it became like the town crazies got hold of it and were like, burn this sick filth and all that madness. And on one hand, my American publisher was thrilled because, it's free publicity that they haven't had to pay for, and it was being talked about in Los Angeles and Canada and all over. But the problem is that would be all very well and good if it weren't for the young LGBT people of Alaska who were caught in the middle of that and were being sent such a clear message by the town of Wasilla, which was, you're not welcome here. That book kind of became an emblem, I think, for the LGBT community in Alaska, and they were being sent like a really clear message, and that's really sad. So, while on one hand I was like, hurrah, on the other hand I was like, ugh.
Yeah, no, definitely. There was lots of people that seemed quite angry about that. That was one of the ones that people were sort of really like, it's not fair, talk about it. So, the last question that I had from people on Twitter, it's from Charlotte. She wanted to know, you've been quite open and informative about your transition. Is that something that will be in further books? Like, are you going to explore that in books that you're writing, like non-fiction or fictional?
Yes.
It is going to be something.
So I signed a book deal with a new publisher called The Gender Games.
Right.
That's the name of the title. It's kind of a memoir, but also sort of essays on gender.
Right.
It was interesting because the publisher came to me. It was after they read the interview I did for BuzzFeed where I first came out as transgender.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And they said, would you be interested in doing a memoir? And at the time I kind of felt like I wasn't. I said, okay, I'm not so much interested in a memoir, but I'd be really interested to do kind of a book about where we learn gender from. Where historically now, where do we learn what it is to be male or what it is to be female? But then, as I sat down to write it, I realised that in order to do that, I was going to have to look at each stage of my life. And so it has kind of become a memoir.
Yes.
So even though I was quite resistant to do that, it is legitimately a memoir, but that's out next July.
Has that been good to write? Have you found that it's been really sort of interesting to write? Or
I've never dreaded writing something like
Right.
I've dreaded writing this, because I just sort of thought I thought it would bore me, because it's kind of, I've done it all, you know,
Yeah.
I've done my life, so it's like, why would I want to go back over it, and why would I want to rehash it? But actually, I'm starting to see myself as kind of the character in the book, and what I have always loved doing is telling stories. So it just so happens I'm telling my story this time, and so actually the first draft of the book was quite interesting in that I did kind of plough through it, just trying to get everything out there, and now I'm sort of going back and adding, you know, imagining nobody else knows my life but me, so I
Yeah.
am going to have to tell the story kind of. And through looking at my life, it is about, well, where, you know, how do children learn about gender? So it's looking at toys and cartoons and clothing, and that's where it sort of starts from. So I'm quite enjoying it now. To say that I put it off and I put it off and I put it off until the last possible second. And I wrote another novel when I really shouldn't have been. I should have been working on the gender games. Sorry, publisher. But so now, it's well underway.
That's
We're
good.
doing the cover photo shoot next week, so that'll
wow.
be interesting.
So I will link below all of Juno's links and all of her books as well, and you can go and check them out. This Book is Gay is my favourite.
Thank you.
Yes. Gay, and you can go and check all of those out, and I will post all of the Cheltenham Literature Festival websites and all of those down below as well. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.